This is my introduction to Super-MIDI. Super-MIDI is an addition to the standard MIDI protocol for the transmission of performance information between computers and electronic instruments. The difference that I have is that I've added in the two things you can see in white, and they come before the note. There's a pre-note which triggers as soon as the pedal or the key leaves the resting position, and it provides a MIDI pre-note element, which is a digital sample of pre-note stuff, the zing, the z in the violin, or the wind in the wind instrument that will gradually build in when you play an instrument slowly and you're trying to do that lovely precursor to the note. So anyway, the first part is the pre-note, and at the end, after the MIDI note off, there's another event, and this is typically silent. It's another note off, and it's a insurance policy, you might say, for the existing note off. If the first note off, which is in the MIDI standard, if the first note off goes away or loses its way and your pipes are in your processor boxes, then you'll have a stuck note. But if you have an extra, some insurance, then you actually will get that note turned off by the post note or the pre-note element turning it off. So you have, instead of an all notes off, you have both notes off, which refers to both the pre-note and the MIDI note itself. So yeah, and the reason that I developed this is twofold. One is that there's certain sounds that I was not able to lock together in live performance, was not able to synchronize. I play the drums with my feet, and I play it at various, I play keyboards with my hands. But I was never able to synchronize the foot close hi-hat with all the other drums. And the reason is that the foot close hi-hat downbeat comes at the end of the sample, not at the beginning with all the other drums. When you hit a drum, it makes a sharp attack sound that goes bang. But when you do a foot close hi-hat, it goes shoop. And so there's that shoop leading up to that ending part of that note or that sound. And so the only way to synchronize it was actually to invent a new MIDI system. And so in my last video, I demonstrated the first Super-MIDI note, and it's working out really well because I can just play it naturally, and I can actually do all kinds of things with it. And I'm really enjoying having the very first Super-MIDI note. But I had to MacGyver it. I had to do it in a way that is outside of the standard. I had to actually get wires and duct tape and a little processor box, and so, a little thing to actually produce this MIDI note that I had in my mind, this MIDI pre-note that I have in my mind. So hopefully sometime it will be adopted by the MIDI standard, and we will have all kinds of glorious new sounds, and we'll be able to have violins and wind instruments all properly portrayed and performed with MIDI musicians and MIDI instruments. So anyway, that's my introduction to Super-MIDI, and hopefully that diagram made sense to everybody.